He describes the Medo-Persia Empire as a bear. In verse 4, he describes the Babylonian empire as a lion. What do we know about a panther? They're sleek, they're powerful, they're lethal. What do we know about the feet of a bear? A bear will go anywhere. He'll walk across anything. Frozen ground, burning ground, rocky ground, thorny ground. Don't care. Just keeps on going. What do we know about a lion? Powerful, deadly. It has no mercy. It's brutal. So the source of the beast comes from, the power comes from Satan. And so this has come out of the water. So one of the heads, as it had been slain, and his fatal wound was healed, and the whole earth was amazed and followed after the beast. Okay, so is this a literal raising from the dead? And this is where people get in. Well, Satan cannot raise from the dead. Only Jesus can raise from the dead. I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is whatever happens so that people will go, wow, look what he just did. Okay? But we do know this. How many people saw Jesus raise Lazarus from the dead? There were a lot of people there. Remember, the whole village came out because they were mourning his loss. Do we know how many of those people then, after seeing Jesus literally go, Lazarus, come forth? How many of those people fell at Jesus' feet and go, you're the one? We don't know the answer to that. But what we know with this is it's going to be so powerful and so public that it's going to turn many, many, many people to the beast. So verse 4. They worshiped the dragon because he gave his authority to the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like the beast, and who is able to wage war with him? Now, anybody here know the answer to that? I know somebody who's way better than the beast. I think I've shared this with you. My name, Michael, means who is like God. And my parents always told me, oh, your name means you're like God. No, that's not what my name means. My name is a question. Is there anybody like God? Not Michael. No, there's nobody like God. And so we know that while the people are completely blind to the power and majesty of God, they're convinced that Satan, that the dragon, that the serpent has all this authority. Who is like the beast, and who is able to wage war with him? These are the same people who very soon will be kneeling before the throne of the Almighty God. Every knee will bow. Every tongue will confess. This is when they'll realize, okay, we really missed it. Verse 5. There was given to him a mouth speaking arrogant words and blasphemies, and authority to act for 42 months was given to him. 42 months. How long is that? 3.5 years. How long is the tribulation? 7 years. Are we in the second half of that? Yes, we are. So does that mean all of this world domination is going to happen in 3.5 years? It couldn't. Which is why I believe that this is one of those things where he literally has stretched this string out, and he's saying, okay, all along the string is where these things have happened. All along the string, Satan has been fueling these empires to kind of try to take over and outlaw Christianity and push God out and push the chosen people out. But he's taken that string and he's coiled it up like an extension cord, and he's just handing John the coil and going, "Here, John, this is what's on this string. If you stretched it out, here's what's all's going. But I'm gonna roll it up into a nice little thing for you." Verse 6. He opened his mouth in blasphemies against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, that is, those who dwell in heaven. Happened in history, is happening in present, will happen in the future. Who is the temple of the Most High God now? We are. We see, while we are not suffering greatly in our country, we see it all across the world, that people literally are dying for their faith in Jesus Christ. Denounce Jesus or die. And they're not doing it. They're saying, how can I denounce him? He didn't denounce me. I'm not going to denounce him. We see it's happening now. It has happened through ages past. It will continue to happen. Verse 7 and verse 8. It was also given to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and authority over every tribe and people and tongue and nation was given to him. All who dwell on earth will worship him, everyone whose name was not written from the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who has been slain. Now, if you take this, to me, you could really go, wait a minute. I thought we were safe from this. Again, if he's talking about events from history, events from present day, and events from the future, yes, how many Christians have been martyred over the years, over the last several thousand years? How many Israelites were slaughtered before Jesus' time? So this picture of slaughtering and trying to get rid of the chosen people and now the church has been going on for a long time, and it will continue to go on. It will continue to get worse. So he was given authority to make war against the saints and to overcome them, and the authority of the tribe and the people and tongue and nations, and all who dwell will worship him, except those whose names have been written in the book of life. Again, that's why I think, okay, I can't be here anymore, because I'm not gonna do that. But it says everybody's doing it, but I'm not gonna do it because my name's been written in the book of life. So my assumption from that is I must not gonna be here. Well, I've been martyred at this point, and I'll be one of the ones under the throne room looking through the glass ceiling going, go God, go get them now, go, come on. Or, well, I've already been there because I was raptured with the church. That's my hope. That's what I'm going for. Now, I want to finish with these last two verses. Verse 9 and 10. At some point, I thought we'd actually go all the way to the end of the chapter today, but that's not going to happen. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is destined for captivity, to captivity he goes. If anyone kills with the sword he must be killed. Here is the perseverance and the faith of the saints. Now, we can get so worked up over things we don't understand. I don't understand it, therefore I can't believe it. I can't accept it because I don't understand it. Have you gotten over yet the fact that you're not going to understand everything that you're asked to accept in your walk with Jesus? Has anybody figured that out yet? We don't get to understand it all to walk with him. And when you look at this and you hear, okay, names are written in the book of life since the foundation. Mike, that sounds like I don't have a choice. But we know the Bible also teaches that we do have a choice. So here's the good news. Apparently, Paul believed in both predestination and free will. And I'm not near as smart as Paul. So how do those things work out? I don't know, and it doesn't matter. What matters is God is in control. That's what matters for me. And that everything that he's got and he's reeling out and he's writing out in the book of Revelation, he has a plan. But Mike, you won't let me in on the plan. Me either, but I'm dumb enough. I don't really care. I'm just happily running along. But he has a plan. He is in control. This authority, think about this. Satan has enough power and authority to help 7 empires basically conquer the world over and over and over again. And Michael walks up and grabs him and throws him down like he's nothing. And Michael doesn't even come. Michael says, I don't even deserve to, I don't even come close to what God is. Our God is so powerful that all this power that we see isn't even a thimbleful of the power that our Father has. And that's whose side we're on. Are you on the winning team? Have you got the power of God behind you? Well, if you got the power of God behind you, you don't really have an enemy because nobody comes up to the standard. I told somebody the other day, my favorite joke about the standard is there's a man, he was a doorman at a fancy hotel in New York, and for an entire week there was this Texas cattleman who would come in, and he's very very nice and all this other stuff. At the end of the week, as the Texas cattleman was leaving, he looked at the doorman and he goes, "What's your standard tip?" And he said, "It's $100, sir." And so the guy whipped out a $100 bill, gave it to him, and the doorman goes, "You're the first one to ever come up to my standard." Think about that. What is the standard of God? Is something we cannot even comprehend. We can't wrap our mind around it. So to say, God, I really need for there to be a God who can get inside this little jar so I can really carry you around. Okay, and see, there are things I don't understand that are not in my jar, so you're going to have to stop being those things, or I can't believe that God would do this, or God can do this, or God doesn't do this. We need to quit deciding what God should look like and just say, God, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to look like today? How do you want to use me today? I'm here for your service. Years ago, I thought about this analogy. We're going to go home here in a little while and we're going to eat lunch. And when you open the cabinet and we're gonna boil some hot dogs, and we pull this pot out, and we pull the pot out, and the pot looks at us and goes, "What are you doing?" "I'm gonna make some lunch." Why are you grabbing me?" "Well, because I'm going to use you to make my lunch." "Well, what exactly are we having for lunch?" I said, "Well, we're having hot dogs." "Now, wait a minute. Does that mean you're going to fill me up with water, put me on the stove, bring me to a boil, and then put those hot dogs down in me?" "Why, yes, it is. That's exactly what we're going to do." I don't want to be used in that way. But you're a pot, and I own you. I bought you, and you're supposed to give in to my will. You're supposed to do what I want to do because I own you. How many times have you been the pot looking at God going, "No, wait a minute, God. Let me get this straight. You want me to sacrifice for you? I don't know about that. Why don't you sacrifice for me?" Well, I already have done that. His name is Jesus. He's the reason you and I are having this conversation. He's the one who brought us back together so we could have this intimate relationship. Look, I'm not gonna mince words with you here. I own you. I created you. You walked away. I bought you back. I own you twice. But I'm with you, and I love you. Now, to finish out my analogy, I guess at some point, after we've had lunch and everything like that, and we clean the pot, and we kiss the pot. "Pot, I love you. Thank you for serving us today. That was awesome. That was the best hot dog I have ever had. Thank you for making that hot dog so tasty." God does that for us. Thank you for serving me. How many of y'all you've been used by God in some way, and afterwards you go, "Wow, God really, that was awesome. God, thank you for using me in that way." If you haven't had that experience, let me encourage you to say, "God, I'm available. I don't want to just be one of your pretty doodads that you keep in a drawer. I'd like for you to use me today." And he'll go, "Oh, cool. I've been waiting for you to say, use me." And I don't know what he'll do, but I know that after it's all over with, you'll go, "I was used by God today. That was really cool. God used me to touch somebody. God used me to help somebody. God used me to encourage somebody. God used me to minister to somebody." "Well, did you get paid for it?" "Well, yeah, because I know that my Father God, He just took me out of His tool belt and go, man, I'm going to use you today." That's an incredible thing. I want to encourage you this week as we look towards 2 weeks. We'll finish this up, and that's when I'll tell you exactly what 666 means and exactly who the Antichrist is. Hopefully between now and then I'll know. Next week, Harold Weatherby's going to be here, and he's going to be bringing the message since we'll be in Washington. And Harold asked me, he goes, "Well, is there any particular topic?" I said, the one where you tell us who we are in Jesus? I love that topic. He goes, "That's my favorite topic too." So you'll be able to be with him next week. If you have any special needs today, I want to encourage you to seek out somebody, anybody. all of us. If you've gotten a word for somebody, or if you have need of a word,